are the New York Knicks. I'm back, rocking in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 551, part of Dash Radio. Also, if you go to the NewYorkKnicksPodcast.com/ticket club, use code NYKP, get $20 off an annual membership. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
Good. I have a very important question for you.
Okay. I have a very important answer for you.
Oh, you do? I'm glad you do. So here's my question for you. Do you think R.J. Barrett will be good enough within a few years to be on the finals, in the finals for Dancing with the Stars?
That is a very important question. I mean, congratulations, Shumpert.
I had no idea that Iman Shumpert was on Dancing
Oh, you
with the
didn't?
Stars.
People have been posting for weeks about his stuff.
I don't know anything that's going on in the world apparently. But yeah, I did not realize. Have you been watching?
No, I even when people post clips, I don't watch it on Twitter. It's just I don't care. I saw the beginning of a dance and I just like, all right, next.
He looks pretty badass here. I'm just looking at a picture. But how is he first of all, two things. He's 31. Couldn't he just still be in the league?
I guess, I think some players, they just keep getting injured over and over again, and then they're just like, what's the point? Like Jason Williams, remember he was on the Kings and on the Grizzlies, and he was awesome, and then like he retired at like 32.
I know, no, it totally happened. I just he really got because the Knicks
Actually, he
didn't even
came back.
draft him that long ago.
Yeah, I know. It seems like he
They drafted him while we were doing the podcast.
yeah, he retired particularly young.
Yeah, he really just fell off. Whatever. He was there. And also, is he famous enough to be on? I mean, I guess he is famous enough to be on. They have a better judge than I do, but I wouldn't have picked this is the ex-NBAer that's going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
He's in that sweet spot where he's famous enough to get on, but not too famous where he would reject being on.
That's true. I mean, he did win the finals with LeBron. Screw him.
You have to be like a C or a D-lister to be on that show. I mean, it's not like they're getting George Clooney to go on that show.
It'd be a weird take on George Clooney's career. They're like, wait, you accepted that? You have all these movies that are $20 million a piece. Yeah, I thought Dancing with the Stars would really take me to a different level.
Yeah, I figured I'd work really, really hard for months on end for $50,000.
Would it be funny if just a player took like LeBron James just says, I'm taking off next year to be on Dancing with the Stars?
I'm taking my talents to Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we're laughing. There was nothing to laugh about this week. This week was a horrible week in Knicks world. How you doing with that, Jay?
Been better. I'm glad that they beat the Rockets because that's the only reason we're doing this show. I was really just going to take the week off if they lost to the Rockets.
I joke with you that we should just cancel the show this week if they lost the Rockets, and it was mighty goddamn close.
It was really close.
This week they lost to Orlando. They barely beat the YMCA Rockets, and then they put up a good fight against the Bulls, but the Bulls ultimately won last night. Things aren't going so well, Jay.
Last season they were 9-8, and we were super excited. This season they're 9-8, and I feel like they're 4-15, and that the sky is falling.
Were they 9-8 last year?
I know they were 8-8. I don't know what happened in that 17th game. I know they were 8-8.
I know they were because everyone's been doing this. They're like, the Knicks were this last year. The Knicks were this last year. I know at some point they were 11-15, and I know later in the season, even the All-Star break, there are a couple games under 500. They also went on a dramatic run once they got Rose.
Yeah.
But they already have Rose, so I don't know if they're going to do a dramatic run later on. They need to win games now, right now.
Yeah, because they just played the easier part of the schedule, which is not good.
Schedule's about to get harder. I don't know. The Bulls game, both the Bulls game and the Bulls game. Sorry, the Magic game and the Bulls game were games where you're like, the Knicks are going to pull this off. The Knicks are going to pull this off. I cannot believe the Knicks are not pulling this off.
Stat guy, they were 8-9.
Oh, thank you, stat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rocket game. So, where do you want to start here, Jay?
Well, we could either recap the games or we can do our misery index.
I have a question. So we made a misery index, which we'll do. I have a couple of questions for you before we go to the misery index, before I forget. I want to get your take on a couple things.
Okay.
First take, fouling. In the sense of, if you've watched these games and you've watched the whole season, one thing different about this NBA season is there is a lot. I don't know if there's less fouling, but there's less fouls being called. And it's not just the Trey Young, I'll throw myself into you and get a call to foul. Guys are just getting hit, and the refs are just not calling it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of inconsistency where, like, they don't call some stuff that's hard, but they call some light fouls. And I'm sure the refs have been told to call less fouls. This has to be the NBA came down. You must have said call less fouls, let the players play, which has also led to some inconsistency. How do you feel about this whole? I mean, like all the games the Knicks played this week have had issues with fouling. Like the Rocket game, the last night against the Bulls, there were a bunch of plays where guys were like, "Are you kidding me? I didn't get a foul call."
The
What would you think of all
NBA,
this?
like, it's like a pendulum swing. Like, first they call a foul on everything, and everyone hates it, and then they're like, well, let's just call nothing, and to the point where like players are getting hurt, and it's like, can't you just call the game normally? Like, just call a foul, and if it's not a foul, don't call it. It seems like it shouldn't be that hard to figure out.
Well, in fairness to the refs, there's a foul on, like, most plays have a foul somewhere. Like, you could be nitpicking call fouls everywhere.
Right, but I think everyone is pretty much agreed, don't call touch fouls.
Right. And I guess it comes down to, I mean, some of the end ones with the touch fouls are ridiculous, but, like, there's also amount of, like, how much contact do you allow? And, like, a lot of times Randall's been, like, there's a play last night where Randall got just slapped on the arm. And he was, like, he's just waiting for the foul, and then the Bulls went and scored. And I was just like, I get that they're complaining. Like, he just got hit, like, right in front of the ref. He just got slapped in the hand.
Yeah, no, that should be called. Stuff like that should be called. I don't know. They're going too far the other way now.
Yeah, I mean, I do like there being less fouls overall. I mean,
I think
the
everybody
game's more
does.
entertaining, so I guess I will live with the growing pains that go with this. But it's been interesting.
But then it's weird. Like, Harden took 20 free throws the other day, so in one game.
Oh God!
So
Because if you complain enough, they give it back to you.
Yeah.
This is something that happens all the time. Evan Fournier, apparently, if you're an international player, you do this all the time. The take foul. And I know Clyde hates this. He always points it out. Do you like when the Knicks do the take foul to stop a fast break? Or anyone does it?
I mean, I would rather see a fast break. I get why they do it, but everyone would rather see a fast break. I mean, that's why they have the clear path rule to try and stop that.
Should they do away with the take foul entirely? Like they say, like, the refs don't call them, basically, unless the guy gets clobbered. Either it's a flagrant foul, or you just don't get the take foul.
Right. Yeah, I could see that.
The Golden State Warriors, Jay. Why are they so good? And how did I get this so wrong?
They got pieces that fit perfectly. I mean, Gary Payton Jr. is like an insane defender. So he's like kind of like Draymond Green, where he's not going to put up offensive stats that show up in the box score, but he locks his guy down. They just have a lot of complementary pieces that work good. Poole made a huge jump.
Apparently Wiggins is a pretty good basketball player, actually. Just his Timberwolves years fooled us, but, like, he's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm. And they still got Clay coming.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing, if you told me their record, I would be like, wow, Clay's been healthy the whole season. No, Clay hasn't stepped on the court yet.
Yeah.
The Pelicans and Zion, is that an embarrassment? to the league.
I mean, yeah, they kind of, as Bry was saying the other day, they changed the rules to get the Pelicans into a play-in tournament, and Zion didn't even play, and they didn't even make the play-in tournament.
The dude hasn't stepped on the court this year. There's no idea. Supposedly he'll be back at some point in the next few weeks. The Pelicans are horrible, heading towards like a top draft pick. The NBA canted them Zion, and they can't seem to figure out how to be even 500.
Somebody laughed at me on Twitter yesterday because I said Zion's going to be a bust. I don't think it's that wild of a take. He's missed almost 80 games already, and it's only 2.25 seasons in.
Yeah,
And he's like,
I mean,
he has a fractured foot, and he's like 50 pounds overweight. Like, it doesn't like.
right. He's a good when he's healthy and on the court and not 50 pounds overweight, he's really good at basketball. But those things don't seem to happen a lot.
Those are pretty important things.
And then my last question for you before we go into Knicks stuff, because I just want to do something first. The preseason favorites, the consensus for preseason favorites for the final, for most people, were the Bucks versus the Lakers. How are you feeling about those two picks right now?
I'm feeling much better about the Bucks than I am about the Lakers. The Bucks had a bunch of injuries. They had Middleton out. They had Holiday out. DiVincenzo's still out. Brook Lopez. That's 80% of their starting lineup.
They seem to be turning it around, though, and they're winning some more games.
Yeah,
The
guys are coming
Lakers
back.
seem a little broken.
The Lakers, they've had injuries, but even when they're together, it seems like it's an odd fit. And yeah, you don't even know if those guys are going to stay healthy. I mean, they're all getting up there in age.
Do you, for next year, for the next point guard, are you in favor of them starting Kemba Walker or them signing Russell Westbrook after he's bought out by the Lakers?
I mean, he might get bought out. No, not this season, but like he'll play this season. But if he has a bad playoffs, I don't know.
Okay,
Could get ugly.
we'll go. Well, guys, want to do some around the league stuff. Okay, go into the NBA. Go into the Knicks.
We have
my
a
first
question in the chat.
Let's do it.
Brooklyn Adrian says, "Would you rather Kemba get injured or Randall injured for 3 games to see who steps up?"
You know, it's crazy. I said to Jay, like, Jay's just talking about his fantasy team and how everyone's injured. And that's his excuse for having a bad fantasy team. The Knicks have generally been healthy. Outside of the centers, everyone else has been healthy. And you almost want guys to miss games just to see who'll step up. I am going to go with Kemba because I want to see some McBride at point guard. What about you, Jay?
Me too. I feel like even when Kemba's playing good, we knew he was going to be bad on defense, but he's so bad on defense. What was it, a week ago? He had like 15 points in the first quarter, and he was still a minus on the plus minus.
So he looked the best he's looked, though, or maybe the best he's looked in the Bulls game in like the third quarter last night, though.
Yeah,
He
but
had-
like I feel like it's a quarter here and there. Like
No, you're right. But he kind of started coming on. He had some he played some 2-man game with Randall. He set up Randall for a dunk. He looked like he was actually playing within the flow, not just hitting threes, but like playing in the flow of the offense. And then Tibbs did not use him again in the fourth quarter. And I was just thinking was that an odd choice? Because, of course, also Rose looked really bad last night.
yeah, he's probably going with defense, and it was a fairly close game, and he didn't want Walker to get smoked.
I don't know. I mean, do you think Tibbs' lineup choices hurt the Knicks sometimes? Like just going with sticking with the same starting lineup the whole time, making like Evan Fournier can't come back out in the fourth quarter because he's in the doghouse.
I get the bench is playing really good. They have a cohesive unit. I get not breaking them up. Also, the starters on paper are better than all the bench players. So he's probably saying at some point these guys are going to get back to what their normal is, and everything will be good. It's just the season's almost a quarter over, and what is it, all the starters are playing like garbage?
Based on what you said about the Knicks starters on paper, can we do a Knicks podcast that only follows the Knicks on paper?
The Knicks on Paper podcast.
Okay, so Jay usually does a Knicks power ranking. I think he just did a new one. You just did a new one, right, Jay?
Yeah, I put a new one up
Yeah,
this morning, the New York Knicks podcast.com.
They're always funny. They're always great to look at. And I thought instead of we changed it up a little bit for the show.
Mm-hmm.
I said instead of doing a power ranking, player power ranking, we would do a New York Knicks misery ranking.
Mm-hmm.
Where we rank the Knicks 1 through 15, with number 1 being the player that is making us most miserable right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a quite a race on the top, quite a battle. With 15 being the guys that don't really matter. Now, I will point out that I didn't really get to. I had a big tie for number 13, so I didn't make it to 15.
Okay.
I don't know if you had a tie at the end. My tie at the end, not the spoiler alert here, but it was Grimes, Sims, McBride, and Selden, because I can't really be miserable about them. They're just not playing. It doesn't really matter. Like, you're not miserable about Grimes or Sims or McBride or Selden, right?
I mean, people on Twitter are. I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'd like to see them play, but the players that like Grimes and McBride, I'd really like to see them play, but they personally are not making me miserable.
Correct.
Correct. So that's why I put them at tie at the bottom. I don't know if you did it like that at the end. Like Wayne Selden, I forgot until I was like looking at the rankings that he was on the Knicks still. But let's start at the top, Jay. I feel like we do the player power rankings. I feel like we have a similar list at the top. I am wondering how similar our list will be. I mean, obviously,
it's funny because I feel like the misery rankings this week is going to look a lot like my power rankings in week 1 of the season.
So certain things happen. Like the Bulls game changed my power player over power rankings, and the Houston game had changed them a little bit also.
Mm-hmm.
But I these are up to the minute, so my rankings changed a little bit based on last night's results.
Yeah, mine did too.
Okay, so what is your number 1? What player is making you the most miserable now? I'm curious if you have the same player as me.
RJ Barrett.
Oh my God, you have the same player.
Oh, how can you not?
I had Randall up there, but Randall looked so good last night that I was like, I mean, there are reasons to get mad at Randall, and he's still high on my list. But RJ, what the hell happened to him?
He's regressed in just about every single way. I mean, he's playing only 2 less minutes per game, but he's averaging about 4 less points. He's averaging less assists. He's averaging slightly more rebounds, but his shooting, he's down like 10% from last season, from the 3.
Like last night, he really hustled on defense. He got 15 rebounds, but the Knicks played a lot of small ball also, so that kind of like gave him some extra rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
But holy shit, 2 for 12 from the field, and he's been. Did you know? Okay, and I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but Kevin Knox has been mentoring him.
Wait, what?
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Just scared the shit out of him. It's the kind of thing that you like is believable on the Knicks.
I don't like. He had that 5-game stretch where he scored 20 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
He looked goddamn awesome.
And we're like, oh my God, he took the leap. He did it.
It was 2 weeks ago, 2 shows ago, where I was like, we were raving about him.
Yeah.
These last 2 weeks have been goddamn miserable for RJ Barrett.
Really bad. Really bad.
It seems like to me, like when he goes on like a fast break, where he gets the rebounding and runs the length of the court and tries to like finish,
mm-hmm.
It almost is like he runs out of energy. Like he can't finish at the end because he's like tired. I don't even understand it.
It's inexplicable how he's playing right now. Like, as good as he got from year 1 to year 2, it looked like he's almost back to year 1. He's actually playing worse than year 1, really.
He had a funk last year to start the year where he missed like 23s in a row. Like some ridiculous number of threes he missed, or just like an awful start, and everyone's like, he can't shoot. He finished the season 40% from 3. So he had like last year one awful stretch.
Yeah, but that was like the first 8 games. Then he played good for 70 straight games.
I know. It's so weird how well he played. Like he started the year off so-so, took the leap, and then like apparently lost his balance and fell off a cliff.
Yeah. I mean, I know people are saying the season's still young. By the end of next week, the season will be 25% over. So that's
Holy
pretty. And I was reading on, I think it was The Ringer. They were saying that trends for how a team's going to do as far as how they end up for the season levels out after 25 games. So basically, like if you're on a 500 pace after 25 games, you're going to finish around 500 like 90% of the time. So we're getting
what's
to that point where they're going to have to like put up or shut up.
Not that plus minus matters that much, but I was just looked at his game log. So last night against Chicago, apparently he was a +6. But I don't know how he did that. But before that, let me read you the last few games: -2, -2, -1, -17, -28, -1, -14.
Minus
He threw it a
28
plus.
hurt.
He threw it a +15, then -14, -13.
Really bad.
Really bad, and like his shooting. Here's his numbers last few games: 2 for 12, 4 for 13, 7 for 19, 4 for 13, 1 for 9, 3 for 8, 6 for 20, 3 for 8, 8 for 21. I have to go back to game 7 of the season for him to shoot over 50%.
It's crazy. There's no, I don't see any reason for it either. I don't know if the starters just aren't meshing, but like all 5 of them are playing like garbage.
Yeah, but like, what does the rest of the stars have to do with the fact that RJ can't finish at the rim?
I don't know.
He's still getting shots. Like I don't understand. Like everything's being blocked. He's getting.
Yeah,
I don't
Anthony
understand.
said even his defense is looking bad.
I thought his defense looked decent last night, but yeah, overall his defense hasn't been that great. He's been a big part of why the Knicks have just sucked lately.
Yeah.
I feel like they could weather this storm if RJ was playing like the number 2 he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to number 2.
Okay, number 2.
Yeah, last night definitely changed a few things. So I'm going to go Kemba.
Okay, I guess our lists aren't gonna be that different, huh?
Because Kemba seems almost unplayable half the time.
His defense. But I've noticed overall the Knicks do this something. The starting lineup does this a lot more than the backups do. The starting lineups play defense like when you go see a kid's soccer game where all the kids are just following the ball.
Right.
The Knicks starters do this so often where you're like, how'd that guy get open? Oh, the guy that was covering him thought the guy dribbling needed a 4th guy covering him.
Right.
It's unbelievable how often, like, just do this. DVR the game, watch a guy get open, rewind 15 seconds or 10 seconds, look to see how the guy got open. You'll be amazed at how guys get open against the Knicks. There was one play, oh my God, there was this one play, I think it was in the Rockets game, where Kemba was covering a guy at the 3-point line. I forget who was shooting, but like basically the guy's open. Kemba comes at him basically like to close out on him.
Yeah.
And then the guy just kind of like hesitates, and then Kemba walks away and leaves him open to shoot alone.
He's like, well, I tried.
He closes. The guy hesitates, and Kemba just goes to cover someone else. If you're the only one there, cover the guy with the ball. Holy shit!
It's like
It was, yeah.
It's like Alex Caruso is averaging 6 points a game and shooting about 35%. You don't need to double team him.
I mean, by the way, I saw my notes from the Houston game, and you know what the first 2 Knicks plays of the game were? The first play involved Mitchell Robinson going for a rebound and having the ball just bounce off his chest and like losing it, and the second play involved Mitchell Robinson not be able to handle an alley-oop. He's high on my list also.
Yeah.
Sorry. But Kemba, what's the deal? Kemba's never been this bad, right?
He did get bought out. Like just
Yeah,
a
but
few
he never
months
even
ago.
played. He never even played for OKC though.
Oh.
And
Celtics fans were not upset that he was not there anymore.
Yeah, I mean that I can understand OKC being like they were just doing a salary dump with Al Horford and trying to get picks or whatever they got for him. Okay. Who's number 3 on your list?
Fournier.
Randall. But you can tell me Fournier.
I mean,
Fournier is number 4 on my list.
I wanted to pick Randall, but I literally had to drop Fournier from my fantasy team. He had 4 straight games with under 10 points. He's shooting horrible. He had one good game, and it was the day after I dropped him just to make me angry. But then he went back to 1 for 7 against the Bulls. And
Yeah, he got 19 points against the Rockets, and you were like, okay, maybe he's coming out of this. Finally, he's going to be good. Then he racks up a giant 3 points.
yeah,
The Fournier apparently like he said that like he's used to being in a role where his minutes are kind of guaranteed, and this is new for him that he kind of has to fight for minutes. So he's got to he's almost puts extra pressure on himself to deliver early, or get shots up early, which apparently is not working for him. I don't know.
It's definitely not working. I don't know. If you're trying to fight for minutes, playing like garbage is not a good strategy.
Right. I can understand Tibbs also not playing him because Burks is playing just so much better than he is right now.
Yeah, Burks is definitely outplaying him.
I really don't like. I understand where the starters maybe they're going to be built based on their contracts, but there's no way Tibbs is finishing the game based on contracts. He wants to win, so he's just going to be like, okay, I'm just going to play whoever's playing best tonight.
Yeah, that's not. Tibbs is the wrong coach if you think you're just going to get minutes guaranteed.
But holy shit, Fournier has been driving me crazy. His defense has been pretty lackluster also. Better than Kemba's.
But not much.
He's a little more playable in the fourth quarter than Kemba is, I'd say. This is just I'm so miserable watching these players. It's also like you had so much hope with these players.
Yeah.
I was like Fournier. First of all, Fournier scored 30 against Boston to start the year. First couple games, he was really good. Why is he terrible now?
I don't know. It was weird that he started off good and then got bad. You'd think it'd be the other way around. But
You said, I forget if you said this on the show also, but how is it that all the guys in the team are slumping at the same time?
yeah, the entire starting unit, all slumping. It's the weirdest thing.
I put Randall above Fournier, and despite his game last night, my issue with Randall basically is you're the star player. Last night was the first time you actually looked like a star player, at least in production. And he still had a bunch of turnovers last night.
Yeah, it's difficult because the eye test, he looks like he's playing really bad. He looks like he definitely regressed on defense. But then you look and he's averaging 20, 10, and 5, and you're like, that's like all-star numbers.
His numbers are down, though. His shooting's down, percentage-wise.
Percentage-wise, his shooting's down. I mean, he's shooting 35% from three, which
good.
is it's like average. And then 42 from the field, which is bad. That would be his worst of his career. So
yeah, I don't understand. Last night against the Bulls, he was doing some things where he was fighting through coverages to first of all, he was doing some extra good post moves to get to the basket. And he also was actually passing out of the double team. So he was doing more of what he's supposed to be doing. But he's just been really, really frustrating.
he has. I almost had him at number 1, but then I started thinking about the other players, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, he had number until last night's game against Chicago. He had number 1 in my mind, clearly, but he did play well last night.
The problem is that he was so good last season. The bar is set so high, and he's not playing like a number 1 guy like he was last season.
He wants to be the number 1 guy.
Yeah.
He's ready to be the number 1 guy in his mind.
Yeah.
And he had an all-star season. You don't want to see regression. I just don't know. There are some times where he's out there for a quarter where he refuses to shoot. He's just trying to set everyone else up, but also not looking almost to his own detriment, not looking for his offense. And then there's some times where he's just shooting threes, and he's there was the game a couple nights ago where he shit 5 for 10 from 3. You're great, but then 5, but he's not going to the basket.
I think he took 11 shots the whole game, and 10 were from 3. It was ridiculous. Nomad said 25% of the season's already over. That's crazy. Is it too early to start looking at trades to upgrade this defense, especially for the guards?
I don't know what trades you'd make. I mean, I really just don't know what trades you'd make.
Right. Are
there anything stand out to you?
Are you going to get a starting point guard for Walker? I mean, even if you threw in Mitch, is Mitch playing that well that you're going to get somebody really good?
That's why I almost feel play these guys, these rookies, and just see what they can do. McBride and Grimes. I mean, if McBride Miss McBride played in Westchester the other night, and I think he scored 20 points, had a bunch of assists. He played really well. He wasn't efficient, but he played pretty well.
I think he had about 29.
Yeah, he had a pretty decent game. I don't know what he'll do in the NBA, and I know he's not a top draft pick. But if he can play some defense and play a halfway decent point guard, he might be more than what Kemp is giving us.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy. I know that sounds crazy also because Kemp is obviously a better player than Miles McBride, who was drafted in the 35th overall. But I'm not sure if he's better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who's next on your list? So was number 4 Randall for you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's go to number 5.
Well, who's your number 4?
My 4 was Fournier.
Okay.
We just flipped
Yeah.
them. Apparently we're doing the same list. Okay.
5 is Noel.
Oh, 5 is Mitch.
Okay. I mean, I could see putting
my
either
number
of them there.
6. My number 6 is Noel. So
Yeah.
go on, Jay.
Same here. So we just flipped those two. So Noel, I was hyped for because he was so good last season. He's played like 2 games, and he just keeps getting hurt. And he looked bad when he was back.
I don't think Noel's looked. Actually, he got a lot of fouls the other night, but I think Noel overall has looked pretty decent out there. You think he's looked bad?
Not bad, just dumb fouls, but like he's only played 3 games.
He's
So-
played, I think, 6 games.
Really? It feels like less. It really does.
Like less. Everything about the Knicks feels like less.
Yeah, you're right.
Um,
He's played 6 games.
6,
I'm
yeah, that's what I
actually
thought.
surprised.
I think he's so active out there when he's out there. I think he really is a difference maker on defense. I think he's been doing pretty much what he did last season as far as just being a rim protector. His offense is still mediocre. He did hit like a jump shot the other night, which was kind of cool. Overall, his injuries are the issue. Beyond that, I think he's playing well. Mitch, I think, has regressed on the court. Do you think Mitch is playing all that well?
No, I don't. He looks a step slow. He hasn't developed any sort of offense at all, other than doing an
None.
alley-oop.
It's as if he didn't know to work on that over the offseason. And I know he had an injured foot, so which kind of limited his ability to work on stuff. But like, he looks really bad, right? He's
He's doing absolutely nothing other than dunking. Like he's shooting 81% this season, which is insane. But like, he's down in pretty much every other statistical category. He's averaging 7 points a game. If you combine Noel and Mitch, they're averaging under 12 points a game.
48 minutes from center. Yeah, 12 points. I really feel like he's just not giving you enough on defense or offense. I feel like he's part of the reason the starting unit sucks. Like, if anything, like, if you just switch Noel and Mitch and have them healthy, I think Noel would make a big difference on the starting unit.
Yeah, it might actually. Might have to try that at some point because something I think they need a shake up, and I feel like that's the least disruptive to the bench unit.
That would be I agree. That would be the least disruptive one you can do. I do think you could switch out, I don't know, switch Burks and Fournier or switch Rose and Kemba. If you switch Rose and Noel for Mitch and just switch the point guard and switch the center, that might be interesting enough.
It might. I just feel like Rose has pretty good chemistry with the second unit. I don't know. Something needs to change though.
Okay, so who's your number 6 was Mitch?
Yeah.
Who's 7?
It just not only that, I feel like Mitch has played most of the games, but he's left early in like a lot of them. So like
Yeah, he's played
he's played 15, but like he got hurt in like 6 of those.
He's getting hurt. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's amazing that the Knicks have like we have 48 minutes of rim protection, which means we have almost no rim protection.
Right.
Who's next here? Who's number 7 on your list?
Number 7. So we got through the whole starting lineup
Yeah.
within like the first 6.
He had to.
That's really bad. Now we're getting to the point where I'm not that misery.
Yeah, my misery has kind of cooled off a little bit. That really, like, 1 through 5 really are making me miserable. I mean, like, 1 through 5 is in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it makes sense why our lists are similar because it's the starting lineup that's just killing us. But who's number 7 for you? Like, this one's not gonna make me as miserable, but he is making me miserable a little bit. Basically, there's a little bit. Like, I'm saying number 7. I am more positive than negative, but I'm annoyed.
Okay, I'm interested to see who that's going to be. I would probably go with Quickly.
Okay, tell me why.
I just feel like I was expecting a bigger leap from him this year. I think it's my fault. I set the bar for what I thought he was going to do higher than probably what was realistic, considering he's coming off the bench. He's only going to be playing 15 minutes a game or so. And he started off the season like really cold, and he's not hitting his threes. He's shooting so bad from three this season.
What's he shooting from three? I thought his percentage kind of got a little bit back to more normal.
Oh, no. I was thinking of Toppin. Toppin did not hit a three. No. Quickly is league average 36%.
Yeah, I thought it got like it's moving up a little bit. I know he started off pretty poorly. IQ, he's a little bit lower down from me. I get it though. Like sometimes he's looked really good. Sometimes he's been kind of a little frustrating. Like he just sometimes when he jacks the threes or like dribbles a little bit too much. Like his like lack of decision making.
Yeah.
But overall, I think he's better than last season overall. What do you think?
A little bit, but like very little bit.
I think his defense is a little bit better. His decision making as far as passing is a little bit better. My number 7 is Toppin. Where I'm going with Toppin, I know at times Toppin's looked exciting. He's great in the fast break. His dunks are nice. His lack of aggression on offense, though, to a certain extent, in the half-court offense, his lack of aggression drives me insane. Like there's too often he gets the ball and just basically hands it off to someone else or stands in the corner waiting for the three-point shot. The three-point shot is not your shot. Stop shooting it. I mean, you can keep shooting it, whatever. I need you driving to the basket more.
I feel like he's in his wheelhouse when it's a fast break. But if it slows to like half court, then he's a little lost.
He's still a little lost in the half-court offense, which the Knicks really need help is the half-court offense. By the way, I said last show I made a joke that he would never hit a 3 again, and he hit 4 this week.
Yeah, I told you that was like a given. He's just going to hit a couple.
Yeah, I mean, and he should be a league average 3-point shooter, you'd think. Shooting like low volume, you'd hope, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everyone else drives to the basket. He's got to drive to the basket a little more. He's got to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
Or just like, instead of staying in the corner, go post up. Go give me the goddamn ball down low. I've got size. Especially if our centers are going to be injured, you need to like really step up and like help out in small ball. I think his defense has been better though. Okay, who's number 8 on your list?
Knox, just because every time I see him, it's a reminder that we wasted a draft pick.
It's Knox a little lower, but yes, I agree. Knox, just the guys are so the guys around him, pretty much 4 of the next 5 players, I would have loved to take in over Knox. Though, right now, would you like Michael Porter Jr. or Kevin Knox? Michael Porter Jr. may be out for the season with back troubles and just signed an enormous contract.
I now see what the concern was with Porter Jr. And it was his back all along. That's what people were concerned about. And now he's going to miss the whole season. So maybe I'm not as mad about the Porter Jr., but the Bridges brothers would have been.
Or Shea, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been much better. I agree with him. I'm annoyed at him just for that fact alone. I have Rose next because Rose, again, more positive than negative. He didn't look that good last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's been the Knicks' best player for like more than half the games this season, and we thought he was washed up like 4 years ago. So, like, I feel like we're like just anything we're getting from him right now is like just gravy because like he shouldn't be playing this good at this point.
No, I mean he's not that old though. What is he, 31?
Yeah, but with his injuries, he's like 47.
That's true. I mean, I guess with his injuries, he should be on Dancing with the Stars with Iman Shumpert.
Right, exactly.
Either way, when I watch Rose, I'm reminded like he really is a very solid backup point guard.
We
really still need a starter.
He just turned 33, by the way.
Oh, okay, a little bit older. He's 2 years removed from being. He's 2 years older than Iman Shumpert, who's on Dancing with the Stars.
Right.
Next on my list was IQ, which you named. Who was your next on your list? Who was your 8 and
9? I'm not really like upset with anybody after this point, so I'm just gonna say Rose just because it's,
Yeah.
he is a little inconsistent, and Taj and everybody else doesn't even play enough. So,
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. All the guys below, I'm not really that annoyed at, except for Knox a little bit. But
and then
I mean,
I
I had
guess Burks would be the last one because he had a couple. He had a slow start, but he's been awesome for a couple weeks now.
yeah, I mean, I had Burks, then Knox, and then Taj to finish my list. Because like Taj, I mean, I know he's injured now, but really can't get annoyed at Taj for anything.
No, no.
So that's my player misery index. Jay, I have a question for you. So early in the season, just another thought I had. The Knicks said we're going to make a conscious effort to shoot more threes. One of the first games of the season, I forget which game it was. The Knicks had they tied a team record, or maybe they broke a team record for most threes made in the game.
Yeah.
Do you think that their strategy to shoot more threes has actually hurt them?
No, I just think they're missing all of their shots. Like,
I know, but I'm wondering if maybe the Knicks are trying to figure out their offense now. Like last night against the Bulls, they shot less threes, and they're trying to figure out now how much balance should we be jacking up threes? Should we be going for the twos? Maybe trying to force it kind of has led to them having problems on offense.
but they're missing wide open threes as well. I feel like it's not. I don't feel like they're forcing the three. I feel like they're just missing makeable threes, like all of them.
They are. Okay, so Facebook. Rue writes, why isn't anyone talking about how bad Randall has been? They keep saying he's been good, but look at his plus minus most games. Look at how lazy he gets on defense sometimes, and the ball stops so many times when he posts up and dribbles for 20 seconds. We need to fix the offense and run more plays rather than rely on ISO Randall. The reason the bench does so well is because they have ball movement, and Rose and IQ are driving into the paint, getting guys open looks.
Yeah,
What do you have to say about that?
He needs to get his shit together.
Yeah, I thought last night he did a little better job of driving into double teams and kicking it out, which is what he did a lot last season. Was pick up the double team, kick out, and that would get other guys open. But what do you give Randall so far this season? You got to give him a grade.
A C minus.
Yeah, maybe a C.
Yeah.
It's really been. And what would you expect? If you got to say what grade you were expecting from him.
I was expecting an A minus or an A.
Yeah. Anthony writes, I think it's time we need to talk about how and who should be benched. Does starting Burks and Obi for Fournier and Kemba be the move? And second, for all the Randall talk, he's averaging 20, 10, and 5 on what has been a disappointing start. But RJ, oh my God, what's going on? He's been bad.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Just inexplicable.
So what do you think about starting Burks and Obi for Fournier and Kemba? So I guess that makes Burks your starting point guard and Kemba your shooting guard. I mean, and Burks your point guard and Obi your shooting guard, or RJ becomes your shooting guard. And what do you think about starting Obi at the 3?
I mean, I would say see if he can keep up with the opposing threes. Maybe do it in certain matchups, but I don't know if he can do that on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I also I think you need an actual point guard out there.
Yeah, I don't think Burks can handle the point guard at times, but I don't think you want him as your point guard. I don't see Obi being. I think Obi's a 4 or 5. I think at the 3, it makes just too big of a lineup. That's kind of. I don't know if that's the kind of lineup you really want out there.
Right.
Do you think you lose some? I know he's very athletic, but do you think you lose some athleticism having Obi at your 3? Obi, Randall, and Mitch out there, say?
Are you saying Obi's less athletic than RJ?
I mean, in theory, kind of. I don't know.
Fournier?
What do you think? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I feel like Obi is not I just can't see him playing the 3.
I don't know if Obi's ready to be a starter, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think his lack of aggression. I'd like to see him being more aggressive with the bench unit before I'm going to say this guy needs to start. If anything, I think the 4 or 5 with Randall and Obi seems like the better move.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think of Anthony's that the whole 2010? I mean, you just said it before, but he's averaging 20, 10, and 5. Like, is that okay?
It's that's the thing. Like, it's okay if he's playing within the offense and playing good on defense, but it's not. I feel like this is like good stats, bad team stat line.
Yeah, it's too much of what the previous question was about. Like, just too many times where the ball dies with him.
He can have 20 and 10, and we'll be like, this is an awesome season. It's not right now.
Yeah,
Are
Bill
there any more
writes,
Facebook questions? We're just about out of time.
last one. Why isn't Fournier in the G League already? 1 for 7 again, and barely any defense. Why does Randall feel the need to bring the ball up when he commits all those turnovers each game? Why is Toppin getting under 10 minutes a game when he's clearly one of our best players this season?
All very, very good questions. I mean, Randall does not need to bring the ball up when we have actual point guards now. Toppin, he's playing like 15 minutes a game, but this is gonna be the problem, going forward. He's back up to the Knicks' best player.
Who's not playing very well. But again, like, you can put him at the center. I mean, your centers are injured anyway.
They might have to toy with that more. That's not going to work for certain teams, but it will work for others.
It would have worked last night against the Bulls. The Bulls went super small last night.
Yeah.
Okay, so before next show, our next show likely will be maybe next Monday. The Knicks will play the Lakers, the Suns, and the Hawks. So it'll be Lakers and Phoenix at home and Hawks on the road. What do you think, Jay? This is not going to be a fun week.
I'm going to say 1 and 2.
Where's the win coming?
Well, LeBron's out. He got suspended.
That's true. So, that would be that's the win you want to get, basically.
So they're going to beat the Lakers. Yeah.
The Hawks aren't playing amazing either. So 3-0, 3-0 week. We Thanksgiving.
Sure.
We were thankful for 3-0.
Happy
By the way,
Thanksgiving.
then
3-0.
they then follow up those 3 games with Brooklyn, Chicago, Denver, San Antonio, Indiana. Why can't they throw in like an Akron State or something like that? Like the way college teams have their games off against like fake college teams.
So Nomad proposed Mitch, Kemba, Fournier, and Knox for Christian Wood and John Wall's terrible contract.
Do you know? Yeah, are you doing that, Jay?
I don't know. Christian Wood hasn't been playing great, but
So
John Wall might be. I don't know. The thing is, John Wall is probably going to come out and look better than Kemba, but then get injured.
I had forgotten until they played Houston that John Wall was not playing basketball this season because Houston has agreed to let him not play, despite the fact they're paying him $40 million for the next 2 years, and no one's going to trade for this contract.
Yeah, it seems kind of. He's gonna have to ask for a buyout because nobody's gonna pay $40 million for that.
I mean, is this the first time the league has had 3 players making over $30 million who are not playing basketball, who are not injured?
I know, it's crazy.
Holy! I don't know if I'm missing anyone, but like, there's 3 guys who are like just not playing.
And we have one last email, nyknickspodcast@gmail.com. By the way, we're NY Knicks Podcast on everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon. Phil writes,
and TikTok.
Phil writes, hey guys, to add to your extended Mitch discussion on 11-17, let's send some advice to Mitch and his trainer. Lose the muscle, keep the strength, get the speed back. How did he do this? Maybe start a weekly segment, the Mitch Watch, Center Focus. Taj, Noel, Mitch, rank them.
Taj, Noel. I'm going to put Noel, when healthy, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put Noel first.
I am too.
Number 2, I am putting Taj because Taj is currently, when healthy, outplaying Mitch, even though Mitch should be outplaying Taj.
I feel like people are not going to like this, but I agree with it.
I mean, if anyone's been watching Mitch, like at times he's looked okay, but like he really is not delivering. I mean, he's on a unit that is historically bad on defense. He can't be doing that good of a job at center.
Right.
I hope he looks better going forward, but I currently am not giving him a big contract until he does better.
Yeah. All right, so we will be back next Monday. If you want to join the chat, you can give us a follow, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon. You'll get a notification whenever we go live. We do our comedy show, The Brink of Sanity, on here. and I do some video game stuff too. So
I
give us a
do
follow.
video game stuff also.
Yeah,
Sometimes, yeah.
sometimes Mark joins us too, and
Okay.
we actually should start that up again.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
absolutely.
All right, so thanks for listening, everybody, and we will be back next week.
Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye. You better go away.
I'm gonna leave you.
It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl.
Goodbye, 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 everybody.
All right, we did it.
So next week's episode, do you want to do the players that are making me even more miserable list? Oh my god, I can't believe how bad they've been.
And they're 9-8. Like, it feels so much. Well, they've also lost 8 out of their last 12. So that's why it feels that way.
Right, and it's hard when they went to like the top of the mountain at 5-1, and then they've been like 5-1. Are we going to the finals? Since then, you're like, are we getting the number 1 pick in the draft? It's really been really, really bad.